Hey, everybody. Hey, Construct. You know, I've had my share of those meetings. I think I know what you mean. Well, happy to see you for whatever time. It's not. I won't even be here that long today. I'm just this afternoon. I'm just taking the time I can find, which is sometimes just how it's gotta go. All right. So, we are back at this one shot today. Just hacking away at it, making some progress. Hopefully. Not hopefully. Definitely. Sales pitch updating to an AI version. Ugh. Need lotion. My skin's so dry. Pitbull, how's it going? This is also the other reason for a short afternoon stream where I'm writing and the stakes are low. It's not. I'll still stream tonight. Glad to hear it goes. Is that this is the riskiest streams that I ever run are ones that are like post and update. Both of my machines, the one I'm writing on and the one I stream from, have been updated. Some stuff I used broke, so I had to replace it, thus the late start. So this is also sort of a test stream to say, okay, let's see if everything will function. Hopefully even better than before. I mean, that's the goal. Progress, right? Now, first thing to do is to make a new folder. It's not the biggest deal in the world. It's not like, I definitely have aspirations to have notes and things published in some way, but for the most part, I've just been enjoying the process of seeing the evolution. I mean, it's a lo-fi's not even a fair. It's a barbaric version control system that I have with this notate or this in this app, but it's been working. So I'll keep doing it. All right. I just want that. Okay, great. So Curious and Unexplained. Probably not the name. It doesn't really indicate, but it's a one-shot and a drop-in adventure. This adventure is designed. It's a one-shot for a group of players from levels 1 to 3. Either as a standalone one-shot. This adventure is designed for a group of players from levels 1 to 3, either as a standalone one-shot or as an early adventure in a larger campaign. Early adventure. Dropped in. And I think there's a bunch of the stuff I can cut. Oh, there's only this now. Clues to the nature of the mimic / secret door. I'm going to take this and port it over here to part 2, I think. That's the investigation. That's all the clues. Junk, very rough format that I have it in right now. Okay. All right. Your players will. During this adventure, your players will take on a bounty searching for a missing family of researchers. fight off a... see, I like... Okay. Take on a bounty search. I mean, the nice part about it's an action. They're taking the bounty. I mean, track down... How about try to track down missing family of creature researchers? Let's try that. Let's try that one on. Fight off a cottage full of curious monsters and return them to their cages. Piece together the events that led to each member of the family disappearing. Find a hidden room beneath the home. Find a hidden cellar. After they are eaten by a staircase monster. That's kind of how explicit I want it to be. Find a hidden cellar after they are eaten by a staircase monster. Yeah. Locate a substance that can teleport them. That can, I think it's better to say one-way teleport, you know. Not locate, discover a mysterious substance that can one-way teleport them to far-flung corners of let's call it the world. Locate a substance that can teleport them one way to far-flung corners of the planet. Discover a mysterious substance that can one-way teleport them to far-flung corners of the world. Okay. And ultimately confirm, so discover, let's say it, identify, and then ultimately discover missing family members to ultimately discover that the missing family members traveled to the, yeah, there we go. That's the way to phrase it. Loose story threads left hanging at the end of this adventure could lead your party to a number of exotic locations in your world. Hey, Death Viper, just me reading and rewriting first couple sections here. I do a lot of that. Loose story threads left hanging at the end of this adventure could lead your party to a number. Okay. At the end of this adventure, there will be a number of loose story threads that you can choose to use to run more adventures in your world. Or you could See after the adventure. More on that. Start doing this. I think this is smart. So the substance that teleports the party at the end of the adventure is designed to be fully modular. Replacing here. I don't want to get into that. I don't want to get into that. That says it better. That says it best. However, let me take that. Never let words go to waste. Let's throw that in here. Okay. That feels better. Outline. We've got about the adventure. What did I say about this adventure? Running this adventure. About the adventure. After the adventure. Other way around. About the adventure. Running the adventure. It's got story synopsis, characters, the cottage, curious creatures. This is what we were working on last time. I think that's what I'll pull up this time. Story synopsis, characters, cottage, curious, and unexplained creatures. The party will find a number of creatures loose. Okay. How far do I want to go with this? Is a question. The party will find a number of creatures loose in the cottage when they first arrive. Something happened. It doesn't. It's weird. Hey, Lux. Hey, Gibson. Weird. Okay. Oh, I was like, I thought I lost my keyboard, but no, it was just getting some weird spacing mumbo jumbo. Okay, each of the creatures, blah blah blah. So we've got the feral echo, so sitting on a shelf inside of a sealed glass jar. At first, a feral echo looks like a storm in a bottle. Well, I'll tell you about the creatures right now. It's not in the Feywild. This cottage is in the material plane, and these creatures are all from the material plane. That's one of the things that I like about it, is that it's sort of weirdness, a little bit closer to home. So sitting on a shelf inside of a sealed glass jar, at first a feral echo looks like a storm in a bottle, but instead of lightning and thunder, the swirling spectral form flashes sporadically from one vicious image to another: teeth, tail, eyes, claws, fur, ears. If let out of its bottle, the swirling spectral form will fill the space and lash out like an angry spirit of the forest. Is it a spirit? Maybe it's a ghost. No one is quite sure yet, but if you're very careful at just the moment when a druid drops their wild shape, or perhaps when a druid drops their animal form, or perhaps when a conjured animal is released, and disappears. That's fine. You might be lucky enough to capture this untethered spirit in a bottle for yourself. This curious creature was collected somewhere in a forest. Only a couple of days travel from the cottage. Nah, what I had there was fine. In a nearby forest. Lux, definitely. Yeah, I'll be on, and hopefully early. Thanks for asking. I've been trying my best intentions and all, to keep to my schedule. Gibson, one neat idea I've seen is tree ants can technically be anything, e.g. have a tree ant shaped as some sort of an animal or something. Oh, that's a neat idea. The jar that the creature is contained in has a label that reads number 1, written in yellow ink. The bottle itself seems to screw into a large series of glass tubes that the feral echo can flow through. So what... The interesting thing about... I don't want to get too far into this because to some extent I think this will work itself out, especially as I start working on actual stat blocks, but to some extent talking about these creatures is a little bit lore, but then also more practically, well, what's the deal in the cottage, right? There's a certain aspect of this first encounter that the DM needs to kind of both choose how many of the creatures that we're going to describe here that are sort of loose, how many of them are contained already, and then of the ones that are loose, they all have particular ways that they need to be sort of recaptured. Yeah, that is cool. Mainly thinking of nature spirits. I mean, that's kind of, yeah, the aspect of this that I think is fun is just the kind of the untainted and the behavior of the creature where like when it's out, it sort of fills the space and just becomes this fog of intense sort of like wildlife energy. Like that just seems kind of fun. I like the idea that even a druid who's like in sync with nature, like the conjuring of animal spirits and you know, fae, be they fae or some other means, doing wild shapes, like there's still residual energy that comes off of that. I don't like magic being so clean. So anytime I've done this before with Unseen Servant, I made a whole dungeon around the idea of an abuse of Unseen Servant. I like the idea that there's like a discharge when magic is used, or at the very least there's effects that kind of reverberate and stick kind of everywhere if you're paying attention. That just makes magic a lot more fun when it comes to designing these areas and giving players things to kind of learn and expand, you know, hopefully making magic feel like more than just like a little stat block on the page. Like that's nice, but you know, we could do more than just kind of treat them as power-ups. Second creature is a psychic octopus. Like I said, taking things super seriously. Their effect on the world. Okay. All right, so this rare species of octopus conveys more with its stinging tentacles than a sharp bit of damage. It also seems to use that damage to connect to the target's nervous system and share its thoughts. Charlotte, this is one of the researchers, has nicknamed the creature Talktopus in her notes, which I may actually be making as part of this project too. We'll see. It's unclear whether the creature itself has this ability or if it's only a host to some sort of infection. Just be sure to stock up on health potions before sitting down for a conversation with it. The Talktopus was collected somewhere along the coast. One of its tentacles is tagged with an ID that reads number 2, written in blue ink. Magic telling a story is hard. Great storytelling that's hard to pull off without going into too much detail and losing your players. Yeah, I mean, and also to some extent, like, I feel like a little bit, it's there if they want to pull a thread, and if they don't, I just sort of have to live with that. I don't like forcing it, but it's nice to have. It's really great when it connects, obviously, when somebody's like, wait, what is that? And either I can make up something on the fly, or if I've already thought about it, it's like, yes, please. All right, third, Slagler. At a glance, the Slagler looks like nothing more than a very fast snake, but careful observers may notice the snake is not only fast, but every creature around it is slow to a stop. Not only is the snake, but its effect on the area around it means that every creature nearby is slowed to a near stop. Nearby is slowed, but close by is slowed to a near stop. In fact, anyone that hears the creature's rattle may find themselves struck completely still. Uniquely, the sound waves themselves, the creature wow, I can't type today. Creature creates the sound waves the creature creates seem to form a bubble of slowed time around the creature. Sound waves the creature creates uniquely, it seems the sound waves, it seems to be the sound waves themselves that create a sort of physical bubble of slowed time around the creature. Even with earplugs in, this can make catching around the Slagler. This name might be the weakest of them. I'm okay with it for now, but even with earplugs in, this can make catching the creature particularly tricky. Luckily, the sound and the effect of the sound waves is hampered by water, keeping this creature in a simple fish tank as long as it's happy. Keeping this creature happy and in a simple fish tank is the easiest way to keep its slowing effect under control. This creature is found somewhere deep in the wetlands. Attached beneath its rattle is an ID tag that reads number 3, written in green ink. Pilfer. A pilfer is a gangly-armed puffball with a penchant for picking pockets. I love that. And hoarding little trinkets, picking pockets and hoarding little trinkets. That's fine. Penchant for and stashing little trinkets. While it may occasionally use its long-fingered hands to smack a target, it's typically only as a means to distract them while they pick their pockets. While a pilfer may occasionally use its long-fingered hands to smack a target, it's typically only as a means to distract them while they distract their target while they pick their pockets. pilfer was found in a castle, stolen away out from under a distracted wizard. Its ID tag is number 4, written in red ink. Greedy beetles. These half-dollar sized. These half-dollar sized beetles act as a swarm. Act together as a swarm and carry a poisonous cloud anywhere they go. They will also duplicate and grow larger when attacked. Fair warning to any potential targets. These little guys will duplicate whenever they take damage. Luckily, they have a simple weakness, precious gemstones. They're drawn to them and seem to slowly eat them over time. Greedy beetles are drawn to them and seem to slowly eat them over time. So why keep a creature like this around? When they go from agitated to docile, they draw poison and disease away with them. When used carefully, these beetles can actually heal greedy beetles can actually heal people more than they poison them. Spore this, so the label on the chest containing them reads number 6, written in orange ink. Okay. All right, so that catches us up. We also have the monster staircase. The monster staircase, again, name TBD, acts as a sort of guard dog for the family. It doesn't speak, but it hears pretty much anything said in the first floor and loft of the cottage. The monster staircase is easily the most formidable creature in the cottage. That's actually... on top of its tentacles, teeth, and tongue that can stretch across most of the room, but across the length of the main floor. How about just the length of the cottage? It has a unique ability to deposit any swallowed creature down into a hidden room beneath the first floor. It's just a messy way. Going down the stairs, really. The staircase will be quiet during the initial scuffle in the cottage, but that's only because it is resting after trying to fight off, after trying to prevent Violet from making her way downstairs. I'll leave that for now, but it's probably gonna not be. The monster staircase was found somewhere. This monster staircase was found somewhere in a castle, apparently saved from a wizard's clutches. Apparently saved from enslavement under a recluse wizard. It bears a number 5 written on the edge of one of the steps. Bears a number 5 written in red ink. Living teleportation goo. Maybe I just want to commit to slingshot goo. Slingshot goo was apparently discovered deep inside of a cave during one of Cyril and Charlotte's first expeditions as a team. It doesn't have an ID tag, though the stone cellar it's contained within has a large 0 on the wall written in a dark purple paint. Oh, thanks, Construct. Appreciate that. Cyril and Charlotte collected and brought back a strange black goo from one of their trips when they found it in a cavern. Cyril and... So impatient. So impatient. You know that Nightbot has to go to space, right? It has to go like up to space and then come back down. It's a big long trip. Just teasing. Charlotte and Charlotte brought back, identified substance, and brought it back with them from one of their trips. One of their cave diving trips. Cave diving? Cave? One of their spelunking trips. They noticed it had a strange reaction to light, in that it seemed to depict images on its surface as a reflection. While initial tests confirmed, okay, this gets into a lot of other stuff that's not about the goo, which is fine. Monster staircase. Okay, so the last remaining creature here is an elementally infused creature. So this is an idea. Well, it's not an idea yet. It's a empty bag. It's an empty container for an idea. Yeah, Nightbot exclusively uses Iridium satellites. You're right. There's also, I've heard that some of the commands do actually, there's like a ticker tape. There's like an old like 60s style machine that clicks on somewhere in Serbia, but that was deep in their API documentation. I'm not sure if that's actually true. Sometimes it takes a minute for that to literally heat up because it's very, very cold. And then once it's ready, it'll send the command. Elementally infused creature was found somewhere in the mountains. Its ID tag is number 7, written in white ink. Thank you, Construct. I'm glad that it had the intended effect. Seasonally elemental. I've also had the this could be fun. What if it changes every time it's struck or moves, or like what if it's like a chaotic it's like tapped into multiple elements and it changes. Might be kind of nightmarish to run, but also like basically if it moves, if it acts, if you act on it, like any of these things, like gosh, what would it mean? It would mean you would have to like, so what if contact, But see, this could be interesting. Okay, so what if some sort of maybe it's a goat. Maybe it's a mountain goat. Maybe it's like a sick. Maybe it's like an infection. Every contact, like if it how would this work? It's like contact with it shifts it to like the next elemental. Like it's basically, it's like you could tap and it's like, you know, fire, water, stone. Like it's switching between these like elements, which would make it. And maybe goat might be too big, like mountain goat, like some sort of mountain. But I like the idea that it's like, okay, we see this creature who's chaotic, and whenever it is acting out, like it's doing these different things, and we see like there's like a series of like 5 or 6 different cages where it's like, okay, fire, you know, in here, water in here, like. That could be kind of neat. Might be more work than it's worth, though. Like, it's a neat idea of it just, like, constantly changing. Any sort of, we've already got sort of a psychic octopus that shocks and deals damage that way. Could be some other type of, like... I think the other inspiration for this, like I have elemental lubber, the absorbing man, that would be another type of like something that can sort of take on properties. That could be kind of neat. And in any of these cases, containing and keeping it happy would be key, because any sort of disruption and it would be, you know, all over the place. What sort of element? Is it stone? Obviously, water, fire, air. Goat, but you feed it the different elements. Force. Force isn't really an element. Lightning, thunder. And I think we have full Captain Planet. Earth, fire, wind, water, heart. So wait, so the only one that's actually funny. Hold on. Let me get that down here as a heart like is not like heart's always been the standout there. But what if it was? What if the elemental infusion was like emotion? Can a creature embody? I'm saying these words not knowing yet what they connect to, but like, what if there's a like it's almost like like if a creature is this type, the attacks are almost, it's all persuasion based. You found this out recently. The heart superpower was actually influencing people telepathically. Well, there you go. Got to be something like that, right? That could be really interesting. So it's actually literally it's that's the creature that you have to you have to talk it back into the cave. You have to sort of soothe it. Yeah, like it's like an inside out monster, basically. You know, what does that even... It certainly could... Hey, Schweens. I mean, it could be very straightforward. It doesn't have to be a bunch of things. It can be a very simple, like, especially if it's a young creature. This one was found most recently in the mountains. So the idea of it being, like, what could it grow into? What could it develop into? And what does that mean? Like, you know, could it trigger a rage, or could it end a rage? You know what I mean? Like, what can it do? Yes, Shween. This is right back into it. This is the one shot. This is the last creature design. Sort of orbiting around what it could be. And right now what I'm really liking is treating emotion as an elemental, like, infusion. And so there's like a pup, like some sort of a creature you'd find. It doesn't have to be an existing type of creature, but these are all material plane creatures. So I like the idea of it being something that you could locate in the mountains that would not feel out of place there. You know, whatever it is, like, it could just be, there could even be a mapping. It could even be maybe it's a because, like, neat idea, but also how do we indicate that, right? It's like the shifting between, you know, so earth, air, fire, like earth. Maybe it's air and earth. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, construct, kind of like compelling. Are you saying emotions map to elements like anger comes out as fire, sadness, water? Kind of, yeah. And I'm not making a ton of sense because I'm still meandering through this idea, but the reason I was thinking about it is that I was realizing that if we wanted to have a creature that was like cycling through, or like it's the embodiment of anger or sadness or joy, that has to be coupled with a physical transformation. So it has to look different, and describing emotions kind of stinks. So like when it's raging and fire, like that is putting out like it should almost like maybe even like maybe the elements. But needing some way to visually indicate so that multiple things are happening. Or the effects of the visible elements are all emotional. So it's fire, but it's a fire that doesn't burn you. It just affects your rage, or it just affects your anger. Maybe you'll lash out. Maybe you have to take an attack on somebody else, like, or you have to attack an object. Like, it sort of forces you to do that. Getting wet is gonna could cause you to pause, maybe lose part of your turn, or maybe it puts you to the bottom of initiative because it's like an emotional moment. Dealing with the god of madness. You're inside someone's mind trying to restore their sanity. One example is confidence fighting fear. That sounds that may be one of the only things I've heard about Skyrim that actually make me want to play it, because that's a cool idea. Not that I wouldn't play Skyrim. I tried it once and I wasn't into it and abandoned it, but that's a really cool idea for a dungeon. Yeah, Pitbull, and for a lower level, like compelling, like just you got to destroy something, or you got to try to attack, like drive your weapon. Like for a low level party, that's still like hacking up a thing or like attacking something that causes damage. That still becomes like a fun moment. I think I like this idea. I think this works. So at its core, I feel like it's a what does it look like? Like a mud ball? Is that too lame? Like, it feels like it's just this ball. That's my character design style. That's where the pilfer, just a little guy with eyes. I feel like this thing isn't caged. It's effectively like a pet rock, like it's sitting on a desk, because when it's well taken care of, when the piece, it just looks like a rock. It just looks like a thing sitting there. But then when it is sparked with maybe we need another one. What are the other Inside Out? Disgust, and I think what's the, like, not anxiety, but what's the one that's always freaking out, like panic or whatever. We could use a panic emotion. My favorite way to play Skyrim is actually in an old copy of The Sims, where it's actually been installed on the smart fridge in The Sims. So I'm actually, like, I have a character that doesn't go out very much, and it just plays Skyrim on a special fridge installation inside of The Sims. That's where I play Skyrim. We're a small community of people. That's how we play. So it's not called a pop rock, but it's effectual. We're effectively designing some sort of emotional pop rock. Hey Steve, welcome to the stream. Hi Max G. There's a Pixar movie where there's a kid who has emotions represented by little people. Yeah, Inside Out. Yep. Hey Tess. Good to see you again. How are you? Yeah, it feels like there's a there's clearly, so emoting is going to make something, you know, relatable, personable. Doing great. Just stealing a few minutes for an afternoon stream to work on some crazy monsters. Like we just decided to make a pet rock monster, basically. It's basically an emotionally element. It's an emotional. It's not an elemental, an emotional. It basically is, right? Like this is, you put it in a ring and teleport back to the 90s. You mean a mood ring, but a rock for a mood ring. Well, I like the idea of storage or containment for this creature is just calm it down. Just calm it down, and then it's basically, you know, then you can just set it on the shelf. It's only if you're feeding it these emotions like that, that's what sparks it. That's a really interesting. It's a really interesting type of creature. Okay. What are the words used? If you have like an elemental creature, there could be a large one, or it could be a small, or is it like minor elemental? Is that how it's normally phrased? I think. Yeah, minor elemental. Okay, so this is a. That doesn't really work, does it? A minor emotional. Can I do that? An emotional? All right. Strange because so like I said, I want to tie it to very clear physical changes, which does feel a little bit more like an elemental, but I think it's okay because I don't think any of the effects are real. Oh, a sentimental. A sentimental. It's a minor sentimental. It gets a lot closer to elemental. Okay, good. All right, awesome. I'll just write the Pokédex entry for it real quick. Often mistaken for an elemental. and sometimes tragically destroyed as a result. The minor sentimental. Minor sentimental. I wouldn't say that. So I think part of what I found interesting, Gibson, about I'm sassier. Well, it's also there's a lot more material, right? I'm basically in a writing mindset rather than a shaping foam cake mindset. I like Moji as well, Schweens. I'm gonna write it down. Or is it Mojai? Part of what Gibson, part of what drew me to this these characters in this one shot is the idea of finding more exotic things in the mundane kind of material plane. I have a habit of sticking crazy, wild nature stuff into the Feywild. It's always because the Feywild's creeping around, and it's like, well, cool stuff can be found here, there. Like, without traveling to other planes, there should be exotic and unexplained creatures. Maybe those origins are Fey, or maybe they just are. It's just a weird thing. Oh yeah, no, I like Moji. I like Moji, definitely. We'll see if I end up liking it better than Sentimental. Well, emoji could be a type of minor sentimental. How about that? Here, let's play with that. This odd creature is often mistaken for elemental because it seems to mask itself with oh no, it comes from the plane of emotions, comes from inside out, basically. This odd creature is often tragically mistaken for an elemental because it seems to mask itself with seems to mask its true form with vestiges of fire, water, and stone. But emoji is not elemental. In nature is less elemental and more of a but emoji is part of a new classification of creatures known as minor sentimentals. Yeah, Tess, that's basically what I'm doing. I'm doing it in a wordy way. I kind of did this with I don't know if I have it all in here necessarily. Yeah, I don't. But like yeah, like I kind of creating a family of creatures and then more specific ones. That way it's not like too it feels more realistic that way anyway. Emoji will will present as different elements depending on the mood its temperament. When it's at peace, you'd likely walk right by it, thinking it's a mundane rock on the ground. But when it's angry, a emoji will appear as a emote, will appear as a living flame. If it's angry, fire. Sad, water. Stressed. Give it lightning if it's stressed. Hey, Simtar, how's it going? Emoji in the cottage is young and still hey, Twisted. Oh, thanks, Tess. Yeah, that's definitely the goal. Yeah, that's the goal. I'm glad that that's, part of the takeaways. I think, yeah, Church of Doom, he does some cool stuff. I appreciate that. I wish there were more folks, honestly, doing more of this stuff in the open, but it is also hard. Like, I don't want to, like, it's a discipline like anything else, right? To give yourself, like, to some extent, having the stream going and talking to you guys makes me look more normal, because otherwise I'd be sitting here with the screen and basically talking through a lot of this stuff the same way, because my process involves a lot of verbalizing, taking ideas and speaking them, and somehow the process of saying them and hearing it, I'm able to develop it better than if I'm just sitting here thinking. Like, that doesn't work as well. So, yeah, that's my process, at least. Yeah, check him out, Church of Doom. He's a cool guy. He's got a bunch of interesting, like, it's all very, when you say Church of Doom and you imagine like what that world is and what those creatures and what that kind of game is, it's exactly that. It's exactly on point with what you expect, which is good. I still have to ask him. I still want to bug him at some point and see to what extent, like, church language could drive some people away. It feels like saying, like, kind of owning that the part of D&D that scared people away back in the day, and being like, yep, yeah, this is my D&D content, Church of Doom. And it feels like the type of thing that would I just imagine old-fashioned, I just imagine people fainting, like like the reaction to, like, oh, it was all true, it's all true, the D&D will corrupt the youth. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've been in touch. Hopefully this year. Actually, I don't know what system he favors. I think it's 5e, but I don't know really. I'm not sure exactly what system. I dial more into, like, the vibes of the stuff that he puts out more than, like, the specifics. But I have the power to. That's him. Which I think is a good place to be. Church of D&D, that would be oof. But I think he does. I think I've seen him stream a couple of times, like, on Sunday mornings, which I think is amazing. Like, I love that idea. Naturally, of course. That's all. I am a conduit to other more entertaining spaces, if nothing else. Welcome. Now, get the hell out of here. Nature before it grows and its sphere of influence with it. Happy to help. Well, my new setup allows me to actually, like, have quicker access to, like, OBS chat doesn't do a very good job of letting me post links, but I have, sorry, this stupid boring meta, but, like, my two computer setup allows me to actually have YouTube chat open, which allows me to paste whatever I want. Hey, CB, how's it going? Oh boy, I've got all sorts of stuff, Schweitz. But yes, my yes, this the computer that I'm on here is there's a capture card sending it to the streaming computer, so the streaming computer does nothing but stream out. It actually does, the streaming computer assembles basically titles, my face cam, and the chat, only because it's convenient to have all those things kind of in the same place. It's difficult to, like, layer that separately, but everything that you see, like this, the screen and stuff, and the cameras and all of that is going through a machine that's not streaming anything. It's just sending it all over. Yeah, sort of. Also, it's mostly just, I mean, it's what I've been thinking about doing for the bulk of, last year. What was it, October or something? Was just when I actually, like, did it. So yes, at some point when I do need to do a space tour of my space at some point, and I think it'd be interesting to talk about the means by which I stream, just from, like, a meta level. Like, I don't know. Sometimes content like that is weird because it's like, I don't know, if somebody comes to my channel to watch that video, they're not going to like any of the other stuff probably that I'm making content about. So like that would be maybe a bad idea. So maybe I would just tuck it into doing like a tour of my space and like how I have all my stuff set up, because I think it's kind of unique. Well, hey, and then it's worth doing. Man, so how would you ID tag a creature like this? Like, I guess you wouldn't be able to. You just have to like there just have to be a shelf that's labeled. Where did it go? Nope. Did I delete it? Oh, I deleted it. Definitely stickers. Minor, sentimental, what? Good. Yeah, I agree. Well, it also provides space for, okay, like maybe we expand on the sentimental creature lineup. You know, this is a minor sentiment. I kind of like having sort of a classification of creature, you know, like that, and then sort of having a few different varieties. Like, I like that they can be found in different ways. It allows for sort of different creatures to be used in different combinations to sort of make interesting encounters. It's sort of like having, you know, goblins, but like this goblin's a ranger, and that goblin is more of like a, you know, a brute, and this one's like the boss, or this one's like really fast, or like whatever, you know, just kind of giving different flavors to each one. And it's honestly something I've always been slightly disappointed about when it comes to elemental creatures. It feels like they're very, you know, you just kind of have, oh, you want the minor or the major. It's like, well, is that it? Like, there's so many more things you could do with this, right? But this minor elemental creature was found somewhere in the mountains. A shelf. Okay, so there's a first pass at the creatures. The creatures here are listed. New damage type system. The Gorillas of Destiny is working. I am not aware of that. What's that about? I'll have to look it up. I'm sure it's more complicated than can be summarized here. I should check them out too. Will do. He is new on YouTube because YouTube doesn't want to show me who this person is. Yeah, Shweens, that's the goal. The goal for this one shot is that this will be one of the first things that I release. Not sure exactly how it all comes together, but yep, that's my goal. Yeah, Tess, I don't know if you're on the Discord or not. Here, I'll drop a link to the Discord again, but I'm not sure if you're on there or not. But shoot me a link to the. I can't that username, that search is not bringing up anybody's YouTube channel. So I'll need help finding that, I think. But then I definitely will. I love checking out new creators. Oh, okay, good. Okay, that makes it easy. Let me try that. Nah, I'm sure I can find it now. Yep, I got it. Cool. I will take a look at those videos. Thanks for the recommendation. Wherever you want, but I got it. So if you want to share and you know, plug somebody, it'd be, I guess you said this sounds world building or dungeon masters or whatever, but yeah, I'll take a look. Okay, so the party will find a number of creatures loose in the cottage when they first arrive. This section. Okay. Our descriptions of the following curious creatures: feral echo, psychic, octopus, or octopus. Pilfer, beetles, OG, monster staircase, still astounded by the fact that he deleted or privated his whole channel. I loved his old videos dearly. My opinion, he really kept the audio or something. Oh man, his decision is truly commendable. Yeah, that was over AI art stuff, right? Yeah, I think I remember seeing. I don't know that I caught the announcement, but I certainly noticed that, like, all of a sudden, channel gone. Yeah, that's. I mean. It's a bold move. It's a bold move. I can definitely see, like, some of these I like better. But I think the names, just like anything else, will get revised over time. Yeah. Cool. Awesome. All right. So that's a big one shaped out. Now, obviously, we don't have stat blocks for all of those, which we need. But the fun part when it comes to actually... Here. This is my main accomplishment last night, was creating, oh, not that, was creating what may be a building here soon. We'll see. We'll see if it shapes up that way. Right now it's literally a cake of foam, but I'm going to carve it and see if I can create the shape that I am imagining for the outer walls of a building, and then, you know, make that work. So if this becomes the cottage, what we've come up with in these creatures is going to be fleshing out. It's going to be fleshing out sort of the interior of the building and the scattered terrain and everything like that. So like an aquarium, Yeah, yeah, I know. It's gonna. We'll see. That's what I'm working on tonight. So, I'm gonna make a mess carving this up. I think it'll work though. I feel pretty good about it. But yeah, that's all that I have time for this afternoon. My plan right now, I've arranged my work and life so that this kind of writing time, or it's really just afternoon stream time, but this is now like consistent every day. A little bit earlier than I got started, hopefully today, but this will hopefully allow me to keep hammering on projects that I want to keep moving along, like writing this one shot right now. Could change to other things in the future, we'll see, but also to have evening streams to mix things up and keep things more varied, like keeping crafting going, doing mini painting on Thursdays, doing game streams on Fridays. So yeah, afternoons should be happening a lot more consistently. So that's good news. But that'll cut it. That'll do it for this stream. Thanks for everybody's amazing ideas. I have so much more fun brainstorming this stuff with other people around. And like I said, putting the mic in front of me actually makes me look less weird for talking to myself all the time. So I appreciate it for that as well. Yeah, gateway hobby indeed. Oh, thanks, Construct. I love that. I love that as well. I'm excited to do it again. See you, Simtar. Yeah, have a good afternoon, you guys. Thanks again. I'm going to go do the family thing for a couple of hours, then I'll be on later tonight. See you guys. No, not at all, Tess. We're all pretty cool. Just glad you're here. Catch you guys later.